Claire has it. Claire Honda. Claire is Boston's largest Honda dealership.
This week's leasing special is America's most popular car, a 1991 Honda Accord 5-speed front-wheel drive, 4-door sedan, no money down. This is only a 36-month lease for only $199 per month, no money down.
Claire Honda. Claire has it. Route 1 on the Boston-Dedham line.
A Home for the Holidays Telethon for the Homeless, Monday at 7:30.
A Boston congressman says no to a Republican plan to create a minority congressional district. Free from the violence of 3 years ago, Haiti elects a new president. And Suffolk County Sheriff takes his case for the double bunking of inmates to Washington.
Brian Leary, Don Fratangelo, Ed Harding, and Mark Rosenthal, bringing a world of news to New England. This is News Center 5 at 6.
Good evening, everyone. Governor-elect William Weld is making another pledge tonight to help minorities win a congressional seat by shaking up Boston's districts.
There are no minorities among the Bay State's congressional delegation, and Weld says that's unfair to many black communities. News Center 5's Greg Corey reports Weld believes he has the veto power for the plan, but some Democrats have a plan of their own.
Boston's congressional delegation consists of Joe Moakley, Joe Kennedy, and Brian Donnelly. 3 white males, all Democrats. Their base includes the 8th, 9th, and 11th districts. All share parts of Boston's minority community, and dividing that minority vote makes it difficult for blacks or Hispanics to get elected.
Clearly, it hasn't worked in our favor. So whether they were set up that way or not, maybe we should be able to talk about now in 1990 the possibilities of changing that process so that there is a person of color who's able to go to Congress.
Thank you! Governor-elect Bill Weld thinks the city's districts are unfair to minorities. He told the Boston Sunday Herald, "I don't see why there shouldn't be a Boston seat that a minority candidate would have a shot at based on the residential patterns." Weld has promised to use his veto power to help strengthen the minority voting bloc when the 1991 federal redistricting begins. Democrat Congressman Joe Moakley isn't impressed.
It looks to be a ploy by the Republicans to make an all-Boston seat so that you dilute the Democratic strength of 2 of the 3 congressmen who have to go out into the Republican suburbs to get their votes.
It may be a ploy, but black leaders say it's a good one. At the Democratic State Committee meeting today, party leaders downplayed Weld's proposals. The Democratic-controlled House and Senate must approve any redistricting plan from the corner office. They're concerned about preliminary census figures which show the Commonwealth may lose 1 congressional seat.
So I really think the proposal is a bit preliminary right now until we get the numbers in January and then sit down to look at the numbers.
Privately, some black leaders say by just raising the issue, Governor-elect Weld has made a deposit in their political favor bank. And they say even if it fails, Weld has raised the issues and has raised questions about the sincerity of the state Democratic Party towards the minority community. In Roxbury, I'm Greg Coy, News Center 5.
Meanwhile, voting booths opened in Haiti today without violence and with hopes of democracy. The lines were long during this 3rd attempt in 4 years to democratically elect a government there. Throughout the largely poor island nation, there were reports of protest over voting problems. A team of observers, including former President Jimmy Carter, is in Haiti to monitor the election. Even so, reports indicate 1 district outside the capital didn't have ballots, boxes, or the ink used to guard against voter fraud. The last election in 1987 had to be called off because of violence, but Haitians living in the Boston area are watching with optimism.
I would say that the Haitian people are a lot more politically aware of what is happening and what they want. And what they want for the moment is a complete change in the way that the country was governed. And they think, and I do too, that Aristide is the symbol of these changes.
The most popular candidate is the fiery, outspoken priest Jean-Bertrand Aristide. U.S.-backed candidate Marc Vezin is also a front-runner among 11 presidential hopefuls. Election officials say voting hours will be extended to give the 2.7 million who are eligible to vote a chance to cast a ballot.
2 22-year-old men were struck by an MBTA trolley last night. One of them died today. It happened on the Green Line, just west of Commonwealth Avenue and Harvard Street. The MBTA says Scott Pomerleau and James O'Reilly, both of Waltham, were on the tracks. The trolley conductor says she saw them, but just couldn't stop in time.
They're coming down a hill, around a curve, and the rails are wet. So the operator saw them. They suddenly appeared, because of the curve, they suddenly appeared in her line of vision. She applied the brakes, she sounded the horn. They did not respond to the horn, according to her report.
Pomerleau died today at Beth Israel Hospital. He was a championship diver and the son of a Waltham police sergeant. O'Reilly is hospitalized at Beth Israel in stable condition. MBTA police are investigating the incident. So far, no one has been charged. Construction crews were busy this Sunday repairing a large section of Dartmouth Street in front of the Back Bay train station. Last Wednesday's train collision broke open part of Dartmouth Street right above the tracks. Today, workers began fixing the road. The damage is worse than was originally thought.
We will be removing about a 70 by 30 section of Dartmouth Street in its entirety. Whereas we originally thought we might remove pockets on Dartmouth Street where we had problems, we've now decided to remove the entire 70 by 30 section.
Dartmouth Street is not expected to reopen for at least 8 weeks. The MBTA says Back Bay Station will not reopen completely until Tuesday. Service tomorrow will be the same as it was last Thursday and Friday. Only the Orange Line and Framingham Commuter Line will stop at Back Bay. Passengers on the Needham Line should take their regularly scheduled trains to Forest Hills and then take the Orange Line into Boston. Hyde Park passengers should board the Fairmont Shuttle to South Station. Passengers on the Attleboro, Stoughton, and Franklin lines will be rerouted to South Station. There will be shuttle bus service between South Station and Back Bay Station. And all Amtrak passengers must board either at South Station or Route 128.
This has been a painful weekend for more than 100 people left homeless by Friday's devastating fire in Revere. But today, some residents found reason for hope. Donations of all kinds poured in from across the state. And News Center 5's Maria Rodriguez reports, knowing that others care has made a big difference.
Sam Joni left war-torn Lebanon more than a decade ago to start a new life here. Today, demolition workers cleared out what's left of his Highland Street apartment before destroying it.
I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to find me an apartment first and then go from there. That's about it.
But he came back this morning to see if there was anything left, and fate smiled on him. Among the wreckage, his coin collection. Some soggy Christmas presents he'd bought for his 4- and 7-year-old daughters also salvaged. A bright moment in a grim weekend. It keeps Joni from dwelling on what he's lost.
There's nothing I can do about it. It's done, that's it. I gotta go on with my life, that's all.
And while Joni looks to the future, a group of former residents who grew up here nearly 50 years ago came back to see their past vanishing.
We were poor, but we were really lots of happiness with a lot of Italian families and Jewish families living together.
It's very sad. It's sad to think that during the 50s I grew up here and we played here and you know, it's a lot of sad memories, but a lot of great memories.
It's an overwhelming feeling. You think back to the good times you had here, and I just hope that they'll be able to fix it up and the people that live here now will have good days again.
Thanks to the generosity of hundreds of people, that may be a very real possibility. At Wonderland Park, thousands of bags of clothing, food, and toys have been donated for the homeless residents, some of it brand new.
We actually have enough clothing now, and I think we're going to curtail the clothing drive and just continue with the food and the toys for the kids.
Sullivan says once enough has been collected, they'll need volunteers to help sort through the goods for distribution.
Tomorrow, the work of starting a new life continues for the people who lost their homes here on Highland Street. The Red Cross will be setting up a resource center at the nearby Lewis Fox Jewish Community Center to help them assess exactly what they'll need to start over again. In Revere, Maria Rodriguez, News Center 5.
Now, if you're interested in helping the volunteers sort through all those donations, you can call Wonderland Greyhound Park at area code 617-284-1300. That's 617-284-1300.
Checking other New England news now, Boston police are trying to identify a young man who was shot to death last night. The victim was found in an alley next to 55 Devon Street in Roxbury around 7 o'clock. Police have no suspects and right now no motive. Tomorrow, the state fire marshal will be at the scene of a 3-alarm fire that destroyed a Saugus hardware store last night. Flames tore through Seal Coat hardware supply about 8:30. Investigators say the fire started in a storage container. Firefighters from 5 communities helped battle the flames. The fire marshal is looking into the cause. And a fire on a sewage drilling rig off the coast of Gloucester has finally burned itself out. The Coast Guard says no oil has been found along the shore. It appears the fire consumed 13,000 gallons of diesel and waste oil. The rig caught fire early yesterday, igniting a fuel tank explosion minutes later. 2 workers were evacuated safely.
Suffolk County Sheriff Robert Rufo is taking the fight to increase his jail capacity to the nation's capital. Rufo meets with the U.S. Solicitor General tomorrow in an attempt to allow double bunking at the new Suffolk County Jail. News Center 5's Rebecca Rollins reports Rufo vows to take the issue all the way to the Supreme Court.
The typical cell, which I have proposed to double bunk. In this cell, I would propose to put a second bunk off the wall right here.
Sheriff Rufo wants more bunks for the money in Suffolk County's new $54 million jail. There are windows, fire safety devices, and rec rooms available for all 453 inmates. But tonight, Rufo travels to Washington to meet with Solicitor General Kenneth Starr, the first step in getting the case for legalization for double bunking in Suffolk County jails heard by the U.S. Supreme Court. Rufo wants to add another 193 beds on Nashua Street to reduce the need to ship local inmates to outside facilities.
In effect, as you can see as we walk around in here, it's really not all that small. If you can judge by the size.
About how big is this?
This is about 115 square feet. But very easily, I mean, there's 2 of us standing in here right now. I mean, I wouldn't suggest putting 7 people in here, or even 3. All I'm asking for is 2 in less than 40% of the jail.
From the inside, this jail is definitely state-of-the-art, and the outside could pass for a 90s condo building. But the inmates kept here are in many cases suspects in some of Boston's most serious crimes, like the men arrested after the recent Kimberly Harbor murder and the man arrested after last week's Boston High School fatal stabbing. All the types of suspects Sheriff Rufo wants to keep inside.
And that's why I've been so firm on not allowing anybody to be released prematurely because of prison overcrowding. And I stand fast on that.
If the Solicitor General supports Rufo's case at tomorrow's meeting, the chance of being heard before the Supreme Court jumps from 5 to 75%. In Boston, Rebecca Rollins, News Center 5.
There's much more still to come on News Center 5, including special services at the Old North Church for those spending the holiday in the Persian Gulf.
Also, celebrations in Brazil after a guilty verdict in the murder case of a prominent ecologist.
And then later, will retailers see more red than green this holiday season?
A lot of cars reach 60,000 miles, but only 3 have done it in just 19 days. And every one was a Subaru. The durable, reliable 4-wheel drive Subaru Legacy. At an average speed of 138 miles an hour, the Legacy hasn't just proven itself. It's taken less time to do it than any other car in the world.
No matter what kind of gift or greeting you're sending this holiday season, your postal service offers the perfect way to get it there, in time for the holidays, including Christmas Day delivery of your express mail packages at no extra charge.
We deliver, it's the reason you trust us. You know that we're gonna come through with your postal service. We deliver for you. We deliver for you.
The Dream. True faith and allegiance
to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
The Commonwealth of Massachusetts. The Downfall.
And I don't have to tell you, there are no such things as easy elections.
The Departure.
I think we're ready. 12 years is a long time.
The Dukakis Days. News Center 5 looks back as they come to an end. Join me, Chet Curtis, and Natalie Jacobson live as we take you through the years with Michael and Kitty Dukakis. Wednesday at 7:30 on Channel 5.
Washington! Lexington Furniture is under siege!
Lexington Furniture is closing their doors in Lexington and Norwood. These are the final days to save 30 to 80% on the most respected names in furniture and bedding. With only days remaining, everything must be sold now. Cost or loss will not stand in their way. Save 30 to 80% until these fine showrooms are sold out to the bare walls. Hurry to Lexington Furniture, 1730 Mass Ave, Lexington Center, and Route 1 South, Norwood.
For revolution! inflationary prices.
This Christmas, give the gift that dreams are made of. A Lionel train. Lionel, the most famous model trains in the world. More than a toy, a tradition that recalls the golden age of railroading. Make this Christmas special. Give a Lionel train. Call Charles Rose Supply Company now. Free shipping in time for Christmas. Or visit our showroom. Lionel, dreams that last a lifetime.
The U.S.-Iraqi war of words subsided today. U.S. officials declined comment on the apparent collapse of high-level talks between the two countries, while Iraq today indicated that it still wants to talk sometime. President Bush this morning waved off reporters upon his return to the White House from Camp David. Later, the White House declined comment on a Baghdad statement reaffirming its determination to stay in Kuwait. Secretary of State James Baker departed Washington today for Brussels and a meeting with NATO foreign ministers. Baker is expected to brief the ministers on the latest Gulf developments, but he's not expected to ask America's allies to send more troops or supplies. Meanwhile, in Baghdad, the official Iraqi news agency reported that Iraq still wants dialogue, but on its own terms. That means, says Foreign Minister Tariq Aziz, January 12th or not at all. But U.S. officials who say the meeting must take place much earlier aren't budging either.
There are dates on the table. We'll just have to see. They have my home phone number.
Iraq's information minister says as a result of the standoff, an atmosphere of war prevails. Iraqi citizens have been ordered to take civil defense courses before the UN's January 15th deadline for Iraq's withdrawal from Kuwait. Here at home, an Old North Church prayer service for those held hostage in Iraq and Kuwait today became a service of thanks for their return home. A number of former hostages joined in the prayers, which today focused on getting U.S. servicemen home. And an alarming report today from London. The Sunday Times quotes two German scientists who visited Iraq as saying Saddam Hussein has acquired enough Western technology to produce a nuclear bomb as early as 1991. That's more than 3 years earlier than Western intelligence agencies had previously thought. Don?
The first anniversary of the anti-communist uprising in Romania tops our international news line tonight. About 10,000 Romanians rallied in the city of Timișoara 1 year after a violent revolution led to the downfall and execution of dictator Nicolae Ceausescu. The Romanians are calling for the resignation of their new president, Ion Iliescu. They say too many of his top officials are holdovers from the old dictatorship. Another anniversary was marked today in Poland. 20 years ago, dozens of shipyard workers were killed in anti-communist riots. Newly elected President Lech Wałęsa held a rally outside the Gdansk shipyard, promising voters to fulfill the dreams of those killed by the government, dreams for a better Poland. And in Israel, funeral services were held today for 3 Jews stabbed to death near Tel Aviv on Friday. The Israeli defense minister ordered the deportation of 4 Palestinians in connection with the stabbings. Since Friday night, 900 Palestinians have been arrested for alleged membership in an illegal Islamic group. The Israeli government says the deportations are necessary to stop increasing violence against Jews. But many countries, including the United States, are criticizing that policy.
There was dancing in the streets in several Brazilian towns today when the verdict came down in the Chico Mendes murder trial. A cattle rancher and his son were found guilty of killing the union leader 2 years ago. Mendes lost his life while fighting to save the Amazon rainforest from destruction. Tonight, CNN's Marina Mirabella reports Mendes has become an ecological martyr.
This is what Chico Mendes fought and died for, the largest rainforest in the world. During the past decade, more than 1/10 of the Amazon has been destroyed, much of it by ranchers who burn trees to clear land for cattle. As a union leader, Mendes mobilized hundreds of rubber tappers, men who make their living from the forest. They stood in the way of those who tried to destroy it. Mendes received countless death threats. In December of 1988, he was gunned down outside his home. For many, he became an ecological martyr. At least 50 rubber tappers have been murdered since Mendes was killed, and authorities have had trouble finding people to serve on the jury. But the murder of Chico Mendes has raised environmental awareness in Brazil. Many are optimistic justice will be done.
In the past, it was not so common to have a rich farmer being judged because he killed the rubber tapper. Now the situation changed. I think it's the beginning of the change in Brazilian society.
The country's president, Fernando Collor de Mello, reacting to international pressure, has promised to limit burning in the rainforest. But the ravaging of the Amazon continues. It's not just wealthy landowners who are destroying the rainforest. Every year, thousands of poor Brazilians leave the cities and invade the Amazon looking for a better life. Environmentalists say as long as Brazil struggles with its overwhelming economic and social problems, it's unlikely Chico Mendes's dream of preserving the Amazon will be realized. Marina Mirabella for CNN in Rio de Janeiro.
When we come back, a marvelous Monday will be followed by a torrential Tuesday. Mark's forecast is next.
The Celtics have a hot time in Miami. Ed Harding will have all the highlights for us.
And then the Christmas revels with a Soviet twist. Dixie Watley has that story coming up as News Center 5 continues.
The Big Zero. That's the finance charge at Highland for one full year on new in-carton merchandise. From audio and video to home office equipment and appliances on purchases of $250 or more. In fact, everything you've ever wanted is at Highland Superstore's 0% financing event, except, of course, the interest payments. And by the way, it's now through Monday.
The Midas Basic Brake Service is just $69 per axle with organic shoes or pads, and just $89 with semi-metallics. Nobody beats Midas. Nobody.
Happy holidays from all of us at Channel 5.
For a great Florida vacation, go value. Drive a brand new Ford Escort for only $78 a week. That's right, only $78 a week. Or drive a brand new Crown Victoria for only $158 a week. That's right, only $158 a week. Plus, free unlimited mileage. For reservations, call your travel agent or 1-800-GO-VALUE. That's 1-800-GO-VALUE.
Get the most for your holiday dollar with these all-star values.
Wow, did you see that?
Ooh, look at that guy.
I wish I'd brought my rollerblades.
That looks like great exercise.
You're good. Where'd you get those rollerblades?
At MVP Sports, they've got the best prices around. I got my LA Gears there, too.
Us, too. Mine were just $44.99, and my husband's were just $49.99.
My daughter loves her LA Gears, and I love MVP prices.
An unusual Christmas tree is on display at Boston City Hall Plaza tonight. The 15-foot-tall structure is made entirely of bamboo and decorated with dog tags, naming the 57 Massachusetts men still missing in action from the Vietnam War. The tree was built by the Massachusetts Vigil Society. Bamboo was used because pine trees do not grow in the jungles of Southeast Asia. Nationwide, almost 2,300 men are still listed as missing in action from the war. The bamboo tree will be lit every night until New Year's Eve.
It's a nice monument to them. And how's the weather look? Nice day tomorrow, right?
The weather is looking beautiful. Boy, oh boy, did we just miss getting buried here in Boston today with tons and tons of snow. But they got it up north in ski country for you snow freaks. You're going to have to hang in there. Let's see what's going on in Boston right now. It's 42 degrees. We have a northwest wind blowing in at around 15 miles per hour. Actually, it's 41 degrees. The high temperature was 43 degrees. It's mainly in the 40s here in southern New England with a lot of clouds and brisk northwest winds. Lots of clouds. Still snowing in the vicinity of Burlington and Montpelier. Still snowing in Maine as well. Air temperatures in these locales in the 30s and the 20s. But let's talk about the big blitz. 10 to 15 inches of snow fell today in northeastern Vermont. 6 to 12 inches of snow from Rutland southward. As a matter of fact, they got up to a foot of snow in Rutland in 2 hours. Can you dig that? Unbelievable. 5 to 12 inches of snow north of Concord, New Hampshire, up to a foot of snow in the mountains of Maine, and 3 to 5 inches of the white stuff in the Berkshire. So skiing is going to be great tomorrow, and the weather is looking nice. All right, from space, let's show you what's been happening as the low pressure area really started to wind up last night, throwing some backlash snows up in Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont, and some rain here. But that low pressure area is about to lift off to the northeast. The low clouds we have now will be breaking up, and clearing skies will take hold, but not for too long, because look at all this moisture poised down here in the plain states, and it's racing off to the east-northeast. We'll see some high clouds from that tomorrow afternoon, and it's soaking warm rainstorm for all of us on Tuesday. But after that, I think we have some big changes coming. Let's talk about now on the national map. First of all, Here's a low-pressure area that brought all the wild weather to the northeast. It's slipping off to the northeast. Behind that, we're in a northwesterly airflow of just normally cool and dry air. This big high is going to give us a beautiful Monday, but bitter, bitter cold air is building up here in Canada, and it will be spilling down into the plain states and then trying to move off to the east, probably in 2 chunks. The first chunk will come in through here on Wednesday night, and then another one on Thursday. I guess it's time to say goodbye and go to the forecast. All right. Overnight, partly cloudy, windy and chilly, 25 to 35 degrees, northwest winds up to 30 miles per hour. For tomorrow, a lot of sun. It'll be nice in the 40s, northwest winds at 10 to 20. For tomorrow night, increasing clouds, 28 to 36. Then on Tuesday, becoming rainy, windy and warm, 54 to 58 degrees. After that, it'll be turning a little colder on Wednesday, and then much colder air will be here by Friday as the overall pattern is finally going to change and look like winter.
Well, yeah, it is December.
Yes, we've been spoiled for long enough, I guess, huh?
I know you're taller than I am, but you're especially tall tonight.
Well, you look a little low to me.
Craning my head up to look at you. Okay.
All right, be careful.
Fix that by 11.
Don't hurt yourself.
All right. Thanks, Mark.
Hi.
All right, coming up next in sports, the Bruins take on a touring team from the Soviet Union.
Ed Harding is standing by live at the Boston Garden. Ed?
Okay, go ahead, Chris.
Hi, I'm Chris Nyland of Channel 5 Sports, and we'll be talking hockey with right wing Ed Harding of the Boston Bruins coming up next.
Prodigy makes your PC a powerful tool.
And now they've even added an encyclopedia.
Awesome. I do my shopping at home, pay my bills.
And I can learn something new.
Prodigy now has a 21-volume electronic encyclopedia that's updated quarterly.
All right, Prodigy.
Just press a couple of keys.
Prodigy connects your computer to sports, news, shopping, and now an encyclopedia that never goes out of date, all for only $12.95 a month.
You have just got to get this thing.
It's even got an encyclopedia. Prodigy.
In stores everywhere.
And now, the 12th annual Toyotathon Coast to Coast Sales Event.
It's on now.
The event of the year. And we're dealing on every Toyota, Previous, Corollas, Camrys.
4Runners, Celicas, and the all-new Tercel.
Starting with the biggest Camry option package savings ever, up to $900 and incentives up to $1,500.
And don't forget trucks. With your dealer's help, you could take one home tonight. There's never been a better time to deal. Go see your Toyotathon dealer now.
The truth about price guarantees. Leachmere offers a price guarantee on this GE refrigerator. You'll need it because their price is over $80 higher than Fretter. Their price on this Packard Bell computer is also guaranteed. Good thing, because they're over $180 higher than Fretter's everyday price. If you want price guarantees, go to Leachmere. But if you want low prices, it's always better to shop at Fretter.
Ready to order?
I'm a chicken Nick platter, and watch it.
Yes, ma'am.
A friendly Frank, and watch it.
No matter what you order at Friendly's, you'll want to watch it. Because with any order, you can get a wacky watch for just $1.49 for wild design, so you can watch it any which way.
Here's your chicken deluxe sandwich, sir. Do you want to watch it?
No, thanks. I think I'll eat it.
The wacky watch, $1.49 plus tax at participating Friendly's while supplies last.
A Home for the Holidays, Telethon for the Homeless, Monday at 7:30.
Funny how those West Roxbury kids gravitate towards the media, isn't it? Ed Harding is standing by at the Garden with Chris Nyland of the Bruins.
Actually, it's probably the other way around. Am I your guest or are you my guest tonight?
You're my guest.
How come you're not out here warming up? I mean, there's a game in a handful of minutes here.
Well, I'm going to be in the whirlpool in about 5 minutes, and I'm going to be warming up in that. That's all my warm-up consists of.
It's a rough life you lead, huh?
Well, it's kind of nice after 12 years playing to get one of these games off. I've played in these games the past 12, well, probably 5 out of the 12 years in Montreal and in New York, and I just... They're difficult games for the players to get ready for.
But you know what it is? You're defeating my theory. I thought in the spirit of Glasnost, Mike Milbury was not playing you tonight.
Well, you know, I think he doesn't want any eruptions on the ice tonight, so I'm trying to stay away from those things.
I want to share with our viewers at home some videotape of the Hartford series. Oh, wait a minute.
Guy pulls the shoot. He should be out here at the rest.
It gets mugged by Neely.
From behind again.
From behind. It's Neely. All right. I want to share the tape of the Hartford series. What's going on between you two clubs?
Well, you know, it's a great rivalry between two teams, and I think the Whalers feel a bit, below us because they're from a smaller town in New England, and you know, they don't get the fan support in their own building. I mean, we get more fan support than they do, and that would make any team incensed, I think. And they just want to beat the Bruins. And, you know, I don't blame them too much for what they did the other night. They wanted to play physical, and they were getting embarrassed on the scoreboard, and they wanted to respond, and they did. But I think we responded very well as a team and stood up for them.
Don't you think some of the stuff has gotten ugly, like this incident right here when Costello came over and instigated and reached over?
Yeah, well, it was a bit ugly, but, you know, I've been involved in those before, and it's in an emotional game. Oftentimes it's difficult to control your emotions. You can only control them so much, and when things happen out there, you have to respond. And, you know, it's too bad it got that ugly, but that's life.
I want to talk about the goal scorer now. We got a resume tape for you here. Go ahead and take a look. What's going on here?
I'm thoroughly enjoying playing on that line, and, you know, I never, ever thought I'd be with Gianni and Neely at all this year. Maybe in practice a couple of times or something, but to play with them in the game, I've got more opportunities to score, and it's just a great feeling. I mean, all these years being a checker and doing my job as a fighter and getting this opportunity to help a team in another area on the ice is just, it's a bonus. And I've never felt better in 12 years of hockey. I've never felt better as a skating-wise and getting my opportunities, and it's just a pleasure to be playing with two great hockey players.
I tell you, you're reminding me of Richard, watching you celebrate goals and score goals now, you know?
Well, I used to jump up and down and do the pineapple two-step, but now they got me doing the pump. Stump wants me to do the pump, so I do it, and they always critiquing my pump, but I'm enjoying it, and I hope there's a whole lot more pumping coming in.
Great, Chris. Thank you. I appreciate you joining us. Chris Nyland here alongside. He's now warming up with his mates. Tonight they play Kimmich of the Soviet Union here in the Garden in one of the exhibition games that starts at 7 o'clock. Nyland will not be playing. Last night, the Bruins and Devils skated to a 1-1 tie here in the Garden. It was, of course, the first of the 5-game suspensions for Mike Milbury. And behind the bench, Gordie Clark and Ted Sater. And they had to like the way Cam Neely got things going. Go score. Pick it up now.
Neely over the line. Back court, a shot.
Andy Moog had a big night in goal. Here he robs Bruce Driver from in close. It was a night of goaltenders. Chris Terreri of New Jersey performing exceptionally well in the opportunities that the Bruins put in front of him. He was a fortunate goaltender, too. Devils eventually get one past Moog. Norwood shot ties the game at 1. Watch this one. Bang! Crowder just knocks Glenn Wesley into the Bruins bench for the check of the night. The Bruins have their chances. Should have asked Nyland about this one. Nyland gets robbed by Chris Terreri in this sequence right here. He talked about he likes to play in the line. He gets your chances. Moog keeps the Bruins in it. Here he comes from behind the net to make an unbelievable diving save. The game in overtime ending with a scramble in front of the net, and Moog comes up big again. Bruins and New Jersey skating to a 1-1 tie through the overtime period here in the Garden last night. And again, they played the Soviet Union team here in the Garden this night. National Football League today. What a day for Warren Moon of the Houston Oilers. And it was an awfully painful day for Kansas City, and particularly their quarterback, Steve DeBerg, who suffered a finger injury, a serious one on the left finger. He actually came back to play. First quarter, no score. Warren Moon firing a 24-yard touchdown pass to Jones. It is 7-0 Houston. Second quarter, before DeBerg got injured, he comes back and fires a 62-yarder of his own. This one goes to Burden, and the burden of touchdown is for Kansas City. It's 10-7. Houston leading Kansas City. Marty Schottenheimer's team hoping to get back in the game. But in the third quarter, Warren Moon and company just rip it open in that half. 10-7 Houston. Moon an 87-yard touchdown pass to Hayward Jeffries. It makes it 17-7 Houston. And then Kansas City's Todd McNair is just bang, hammered here on the kickoff. He's okay, but he was knocked out in the play. Warren Moon, 27 for 45, 527 yards, 3 touchdowns and no interceptions. It was the second best passing day in NFL history. Houston won the game. Let's go from Kansas City to Minnesota and Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay with a new interim coach, Ray Perkins, is out there in their white. Testaverde, normally known for his ability to throw it, runs it 48 yards for a touchdown and a 7-0 Tampa Bay lead over Minnesota. I mean, they were pumped. Speaking of pumped, they were ready to go. Testaverde to Mark Carrier. Then look at the spike from Testaverde. Testaverde to Mark Carrier for the touchdown. They're in the high-scoring territory, and they managed to put a touchdown on the board against the Vikings. And watch what happens with the celebration after the touchdown. Carrier gets up, runs over to one of his teammates, and the two of them do that. Whatever it is, it looks great. Made it 23-0. Vikings strike. They come back. Hassan Jones for 75 yards with a catch and run for touchdown. But 26-13 Tampa. beats the Vikings today. Let's take a look at the NFL scoreboard. Second best passing day for Warren Moon in NFL history. The best, Norm Van Brocklin, 554 yards back in 1951. Came within a handful of doing it. Miami beats Seattle. Dallas has won 4 in a row. Tampa Bay, as you saw, is a winner over Minnesota. Cleveland wins their 3rd game, significant for the Patriots. Pittsburgh, 3 better than New Orleans. We have highlights of Seattle and Miami. Let's go to Joe Robbie Stadium in Miami, pick it up. Dolphins in their white shirts. Marino avoids the scramble, throws the touchdown pass. Watch him get hit. Watch him get hit. I mean, Marino paid the price. Watch it. Throws the ball, Wood, bang, just hits him there. Threw a touchdown pass, though, and he got the 7 points on it. Stratford with a touchdown run here for the Dolphins. Interesting stat to keep in the back of your mind. I know Seattle's an AFC West team, but in the AFC East, Miami is 6-0. They win today. Marino with a touchdown as they beat Seattle. They still have to play Buffalo one more time. Back to the NFL scoreboard. Green Bay and Philadelphia are still playing. Indianapolis beats the Jets. Dickerson, 117 yards rushing and 45 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. Bo Jackson has ripped off an 80-plus yard run for the Raiders. He was tackled at the 1, and San Diego and Denver are still playing. I mentioned Dallas. Let's go to the videotape. They played Phoenix today. Dallas has won 4 games in a row. Emmitt Smith with the football scores on a touchdown run here. Remember that name, Emmitt Smith, because it happened 3 other times. Here's Irvin with a touchdown catch. Dallas, an awful team, very recently, is becoming a very good team very quickly. They have evened their record at 500. Emmitt Smith scoring today. You see it thrown at the time there? Emmitt Smith scored 4 touchdowns today as the Pokes win by 31 points over the Phoenix Cardinals. Dallas is playing some pretty decent football. So after play today, the Patriots have clinched at least a tie for the worst record in the league. The Patriots can win no more than 3 games. Cleveland has won 3, and Denver has won 3. So the Patriots can do no worse than win 3, or no better than win 3. So they've clinched at least a tie for the worst record in the league. Let's go from the worst to the second best. The Celtics have the 2nd best record in the NBA. Speaking of the best, they were in Miami last night. Celtics in the road green. Larry Bird misses the shot, but he collects the rebound. And then an assist with a nice pass to Cheap for the jam. Celtics on the run. They toyed with Miami. They pull it up by nearly 30 points in the 4th quarter. Settle down when they put everybody in, does Chris Ford. Dee Brown with the steal. And no, this is not a replay. Looked like the same one you just saw, but this time Brown again to Shaw for the layup. Bird feeds Robert Parrish, who makes a nice move. Chief had 17 in the first half and 23 in the game. As the Celtics just toy with Miami. They have won 6 of their last 7. Now for the showtime. Bird with a pretty pass through Cycle's legs to Kevin Gamble for the basket. Watch again. Right there. Find that goaltender's worst nightmare, the 5-hole. Find Gamble and put it off the glass. Shaw turns on the burners through the heat. Get it? Burners, heat. He just burns the heat, goes all the way to the goal. Dishes to Bird for the easy 2s. The Greens passing machine highlighted on this sequence. Shaw to Bird to Reggie for the lay-in. Celtics win it 114-100. They are 19 up and 4 down in the year with the win in Miami last night. Bruins getting ready to play a touring Soviet team in an exhibition game tonight. Mike Milbury will be coaching, and Chris Nyland said he will be on the bench coaching as well. So there's the spirit of Glasnow. Let's go back to Anita.
All right, thanks, Ed. Hope the Soviets are ready for the Chris Nyland shuffle later on tonight.
They better be. Well, still to come, a Soviet folk dance troupe adds a new dimension to an annual holiday tradition.
Retailers hoping for a green Christmas are instead getting a taste of the blues.
Also coming up, there's encouraging news tonight for people who have to get their appendix removed. Details when we come back.
Well, that was exciting. Excuse me, Molly. If you're in business, I think you should be aware that the toll rates have fallen through the floor. Molly,
New England Telephone has just dropped its Massachusetts toll rates even lower than the old Watts rates. Now you can call a lot more.
You know what this means. Hold on a minute, Jake. This means the cost of doing business has just gone down. Jake, I've got calls to make. We'll talk later?
We're the one for you, New England. New England Telephone.
Part of the NYNEX family.
Got a question for you.
Go for it.
Which one do you think looks like a better beer?
Darker one. That one there.
This is Budweiser, and here's Coors Extra Gold.
Oh!
No.
Want to hear something else?
I'm all ears.
58% of Bud drinkers preferred Coors Extra Gold in an independent taste test.
I can see why.
Coors Extra Gold, slow brewed for that real beer flavor and real beer color, the way beer was meant to be. So what's it going to be?
Go for the gold.
Coors Extra Gold, no doubt about it, beer is back.
Got a pickup truck down the street, just fill it up.
Somewhere, special memories are waiting for you.
Somewhere between a smile and a laugh. Somewhere.
Somewhere your dreams can come true.
Somewhere between the sky and the sea, between the night and the stars. Somewhere.
Somewhere, only on Princess, because it's more than a cruise. It's the Love Boat.
The homeless, their seniors, veterans, families. Some need shelter from the cold. Some need the chance to start over. For hundreds in Massachusetts, food, warm clothes, and a place to stay the night are beyond reach. This holiday season, you can make a difference. Join me, Natalie Jacobson, with Chet Curtis, Mary Richardson, and Peter Mahegan for a Channel 5 telethon to benefit the homeless. A Home for the Holidays, Monday at 7:30 on Channel 5.
Merry Christmas! Hey, who's this?
Season's eatings from Kentucky Fried Chicken.
I love this guy. How did you know we wanted a holiday meal? He's got a list.
Now get a holiday bucket of chicken, a party-sized bucket of hot wings, or a holiday meal, each for just $9.99.
So really, what do we owe you?
In medical news tonight, each year more than 100,000 people in the United States will have their appendix surgically removed. But the method used to perform appendectomies could be in for a major change. Our medical correspondent Terry Schrader reports doctors at Newton Wellesley Hospital are experimenting with a new procedure that doesn't involve any incision.
Are you almost perfect?
Great.
3 weeks ago, surgeons removed Leslie Lang's inflamed appendix. But Leslie's having trouble convincing family and friends she had an appendectomy. Her only scar is a dot on the side of her belly button.
In Leslie's case, we did what's called a laparoscopic appendectomy by looking in through the belly button and finding the inflamed appendix. Able to grab it, dissect it out, find its blood supply, and remove the appendix by tying it off through 2 pencil-sized incisions.
I went right back to work that Monday. I had it the day before Thanksgiving. I have that Friday off from work anyway. I went right back to work that Monday.
The laparoscope was invented 15 years ago for surgeons to get a better look inside the abdomen. Now they're discovering it's a good way to remove everything from an inflamed appendix to diseased gallbladders and ovaries. Gynecologic surgeons are even beginning to use the laparoscope for hysterectomies.
You can't apply this to a lot of hysterectomies. They've been done for cancer cases, but a lot of hysterectomies are done for large fibroid tumors, that kind of thing. These probably, at least now, are not going to be, will not be suitable for this approach. But there's a significant number of uteruses which are removed, which are diseased, which are normal size, and lend themselves nicely to this technique.
Well, the hospitals and insurance companies are delighted with this procedure. I think Leslie spent 1 night in the hospital for an appendicitis. Ordinarily, it's 2 or 3 nights. The cost savings for other operations are even more dramatic.
Long-term recovery is also much better. A lot of traditional surgical scars cause pain for many years. With the tiny laparoscopic scar, that's completely eliminated.
Dancing. I went dancing with a friend, and I didn't know if I could, fast dance or whatever, and I was fine. I was fine.
Physicians say the laparoscope is already revolutionizing abdominal surgery, and for many cases may in fact replace the 2,000-year-old scalpel. At Newton Wellesley Hospital, I'm Terry Schrader, News Center 5.
Checking national news tonight, 2 young sisters taking a bath were electrocuted when a lamp on a nearby table fell into their tub. 4-year-old Jordan Burkham and 2-year-old Haley Hill of Amarillo, Texas were killed. The girl's mother told police the lamp was in the bathroom because a ceiling light wasn't working. Investigators say the mother's boyfriend was caring for the children at the time of the accident. 5 people remain hospitalized tonight after a bus crash on an icy bridge yesterday in Chemung, New York. The charter bus was carrying visitors to a state prison when it hit a passenger truck that had spun out of control. The bus then slammed through a guardrail and down an embankment. The driver of the truck is charged with drunk driving. A total of 28 people were injured. In more evidence of financial trouble for Donald Trump, on the auction block today, 45 units in a West Palm Beach luxury condo development bearing Trump's name. $8 million worth of condominiums were sold to the highest bidders in just 2 hours. Prices range from $180,000 to $725,000 for the big penthouse.
There are just 9 more shopping days until Christmas, and it's clearly a buyer's market. Nationwide, department stores are cutting prices with major sales and discounts, the kind usually reserved for the day after Christmas. As ABC's Ron Claiborne reports, retailers dreaming of a white Christmas are instead singing the holiday blues.
For some people who make their living off the holiday season, this has not been a very jolly Christmas.
The Christmas tree sales are down compared to last year's figures.
And it isn't just Christmas trees. With few exceptions, stores and shops throughout the country report weak sales.
Today, it's the worst of a combination. We're going into recession, and we're on the downswing of customer confidence at the height of our season.
An ABC Money Magazine poll this week showed consumer confidence at near record lows. 85% of Americans rated the national economy negatively. 78% said now is a bad time to buy. Many consumers, fearful of economic recession and a Middle East war, are spending less.
Everybody seems to be more conservative because of the uncertain outlook, yes.
Well, I think we will be cutting back a little on vacations, too. And maybe not as much entertaining as you usually do.
Still, some analysts were actually encouraged that November retail sales figures, which showed a 0.1% decline, were not nearly as bad as expected. They say December sales could rebound.
The economy is low, but not necessarily completely out. And you may see surprising strength in Christmas sales, especially as we get closer and closer to the end.
With just 10 days until Christmas, stores are fighting desperately for customer dollars, many offering deep discounts. For many, these holiday sales will make the difference between showing a profit or a loss for the entire year. Ron Claiborne, ABC News, New York.
Do you have your shopping done yet?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I do.
It's all done? You're organized this year, Brian.
Unbelievable. Well, that was my resolution last year, remember? All right, still ahead, Soviet Jewish immigrants celebrate their first Hanukkah in Boston, giving new meaning to the Festival of Freedom.
And as Soviet dancers brighten up an annual holiday tradition. Dixie Watley with that story as the Sunday News Hour continues.
If you're a sports fan addict, call the sports line that's got it all. Dial 1-900-896-WCVB for Channel 5's online sports. Want national or local scores? The latest sports news? Dial 1-900-896-WCVB. Games still in play? That's okay. Scores updated every minute. Get the inside track on local, college, and professional sports 24 hours a day. 1-900-896-WCVB.
Sure, Santa likes cookies, but he loves Munchkins. Get this holiday gift jar for $1.99 when you buy 45 Munchkins at Dunkin' Donuts. And don't forget to leave some for you-know-who.
Spend an evening with an explorer, a newsbreaker, and an award winner. It's your invitation to experience the good life and good times. Join Peter Mahegan, Mary Richardson, Andrea Hall, and Mike Barnacle for television's most informative and interesting half hour. Spend an evening with Chronicle. It's everything New England. Weeknights at 7:30, only on Channel 5.
Everybody has choices in life.
You've got to take it into your own hands.
I think the show helps a lot of people.
Turn to Oprah.
Weekdays at 5 on Channel 5.
Computers, they're in every facet of our lives. They help us work, they help us play, they help us live better lives. And now this technology can help you stop smoking. It's called LifeSign, a revolutionary pocket-sized computer that analyzes your smoking habits, then alters your pattern of smoking, gradually lessening your desire until you stop. So get back in control. Breathe healthy, breathe free with LifeSign.
Available at Lechmere and all Osco drugstores.
The best bargains for you and your home are right here in Boston at Sherman's. Hundreds of brand-name gifts and housewares at incredible everyday prices. Great savings on TVs, radios, stereos, on luggage, cameras, and gifts. You'll save on appliances, housewares, and personal care items. Don't miss Sherman's values on fine jewelry, watches, and lots more. Quality, service, value at Sherman's, downtown Boston on Bromfield Street near Washington.
The Christmas revels of Cambridge are a seasonal tradition. For 20 years, they've celebrated the winter solstice with music, carols, folk tales, and dance, rich in American tradition. This year, they'll share the stage with the Dmitri Pokrovsky Ensemble, an 11-member folk troupe from Moscow. Earlier this week, entertainment editor Dixie Watley caught a special performance at the Robert Kennedy School in East Cambridge.
For 17 years, the Dmitri Pokrovsky Ensemble has toured the small villages and towns in the Soviet Union, recovering the traditional music and dance lost to the Russian people for decades.
I was almost 30 years old. I heard a real Russian folk song because it was actually prohibited in Soviet Union. It was like nationalism and anti-communism, and you could not sing it. And when I heard it first time in the village, I decided this is my life.
Pokrovsky is considered to be the premier revivalist of Russian folk tradition, and his troupe are the purveyors, playing period instruments, some of them hundreds of years old, like this cow horn used by Russian peasants. But the voices are just as instrumental. These three women mimic bird sounds, symbolic calls for an early spring and abundant harvest.
I think it was great how they expressed themselves and stuff. See, they wasn't afraid to show their stuff, and I like that.
There is an eerie energy to the voices that is strangely appealing, like echoes from the fields. And the dancing is vibrant. Though many of the performances seem exotic, there's a similarity at times to our own folk music.
The style of yodeling, for instance, the way that we use our harmonies, the subjects are so much the same. I see tremendous similarities.
See for yourself when Christmas Revels is celebrated Soviet-American style at Sanders Theater in Cambridge in various performances throughout the month. Dixie Watley, News Center 5.
Another holiday story now. It's a very special Hanukkah celebration this year for dozens of recent Soviet immigrants to the Boston area. Temple Emmanuel in Newton held a Hanukkah program this afternoon for 50 Soviet families, many experiencing their first Festival of Lights right here in the United States. The Soviets and their American host families celebrated the holiday and their religious freedom today with Israeli dancing, performances by Soviet Jewish musicians, and candle lighting. Temple Emmanuel is working to integrate the Soviets into the community by sponsoring adult education programs and providing free tuition to Soviet children in Temple School.
Still to come, Mark's update on the forecast.
But first, a special delivery from who else but Santa Claus.
Nobody can tell you what a complete and thorough brake job will cost until they inspect your car. Nobody. Midas gives you a full inspection up front. And for $69 per axle, we'll install organic shoes or pads. $89 for semi-metallic. Inspect hydraulics, resurface drums or rotors, repack non-sealed wheel bearings, and replace needed grease seals and fluid. So for brakes done right, remember, nobody beats Midas. Nobody.
This Christmas, give the gift that dreams are made of, a Lionel train. Lionel, the most famous model trains in the world. More than a toy, a tradition that recalls the golden age of railroading. Make this Christmas special. Give a Lionel train. Call Charles Rose Supply Company now. Free shipping in time for Christmas. Or visit our showroom. Lionel, dreams that last a lifetime.
Bradley's presents words most often heard at Christmas time.
Oh, you shouldn't have.
How thoughtful.
Just what I wanted.
This year, give them something they really do want, an AT&T gift from Bradley's. Now save $30 on this AT&T answering system 1304, just $49.99. And save $20 on this AT&T cordless telephone 4600, just $79.99. This Christmas, give an AT&T gift from Bradley's. And when they say,
I love it,
they'll mean,
I love it.
A lot of cars reach 60,000 miles, but only 3 have done it in just 19 days. And every one was a Subaru. The durable, reliable four-wheel drive Subaru Legacy. At an average speed of 138 miles an hour, the Legacy hasn't just proven itself. It's taken less time to do it than any other car in the world.
And finally tonight, a special visit from old St. Nick. You may have spotted him today circling overhead in a helicopter from Rockport to Boston. For the past 66 years, the Flying Santa has been dropping Christmas presents to the lighthouses of New England. The tradition began years ago when a pilot got caught in a powerful storm. He lost his bearings, but was finally guided to a safe landing by a lighthouse's beam of light. Every year thereafter, at Christmas time, the pilot would visit the lighthouses with gifts to show his appreciation to the keepers and their families. That tradition has been kept alive, and it's obvious from the smiles on the children's faces that Flying Santa will never be forgotten. Kind of a good deal for everybody.
Exactly.
Huh? The kids get the gifts, and Santa doesn't have to worry about that grungy soot from the chimneys.
Or the snow. He can just fly around. He doesn't have to get around.
There's no snow around
Right,
here.
He doesn't have to worry about snow.
Well,
I mean, he needs
all
snow
right.
for a sleigh.
To yell. Okay. All right, let's
Get
see
on
what's
with the
going
weather,
All
Mark.
right, thank you. I will. Let's see. Talking about snow, it's snowing to beat the band in northern New England. We didn't get here in southern New England. That low pressure area is lifting out. High pressure is going to come in and give us a nice Monday. Another storm developing in the southwest going to bring up tropical moisture. A rainy Tuesday. So locally overnight it'll be partly cloudy, windy, and colder. 25 to 35 degrees, northwest winds at 15 to 30. Tomorrow, sunny, beautiful day, but some high clouds coming in during the afternoon. Temperature spot 45 or so. Tomorrow night, thickening clouds and cool. Low temperatures 28 to 36. And the extended outlook for Tuesday calls for rainy, windy, and warm weather, 54 to 58 degrees with a southerly gale. After that, it'll get colder on Wednesday and much, much colder by week's end. So say goodbye to Indian summer.
Indian summer, is that what you're calling it?
Yeah.
Well,
We've been spoiled. It's been weird.
We have been spoiled. We haven't had
we haven't had snow.
we haven't had
really
snow.
cold.
We haven't had a lot of cold weather. We've been lucky.
But that will be changing. So mind that.
All right, don't keep talking about it. It's going to happen.
All right, I won't.
All right, thanks. That's our newscast for tonight, everyone. We hope you have a nice evening, and we'll be back after the movie tonight, a pretty good one, which is The Beastwork.
All right, good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.